Hi, Mine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Welcome to Extraordinary Moments with Anita.
It's so good for you to have me here.
Fantastic. So, tell us your full name and what you do.
My name is Oganemine Fivor Bunu. You can
Mm-hmm.
call me Mine. I'm a food strategist.
Fantastic. Wow. Okay. So, the topic today, as you know, it's about bullying. And there's so many stories about bullying in school because of that. Kids are committing suicide, not just kids, there's internet bullying, there's bullying in school, bullying everywhere, and it's causing so much harm to our humanity. And you have a story, with regarding bullying. And can
Yeah.
you just share your story with us? Start from the very beginning because we want to know how it all went down.
Oh. From the beginning.
Yes.
Well, that was when I was young. I
Yes,
wasn't young,
exactly.
but
That's the whole thing. Yeah. Because a
uh,
lot of people right now that are young are experiencing it, not just adults. We have young people experiencing it. So if you can tell us, your experience when you were young and as a teenager, as an adult, so everybody gets to learn.
okay. Well, it started when I was probably 9, 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I went to boarding school for the first time. Actually, it was the only time I went to boarding school, and it was a very unique experience. It shaped who I am now. There's
Mm-hmm.
certain things that I definitely learned and had to unlearn as I grew up as an adult. But it was traumatizing because, first of all, like I said, I'm 10 years old. I'm in this new setting where it's you're doing everything for yourself. You no longer have your parents. Your parents are not constantly there for you. You're on your own. You have to take care of yourself. You have to do dishes, do
Mm-hmm.
laundry, and try to figure out what life is. But I remember like the first week, like, or this, we didn't even have like a soft launch into this thing, but like the first week, I remember we were late for like a, hostel prep or something, and in at that time in the school it was like palm kernels. They were like broken, like into pieces, like scattered on the pavement. Kind of that was like the path we used to walk on. It was in front of this huge Mary statue because I went to a Catholic boarding school,
Mm-hmm.
and they told us because we were late. There were like 5, 10 of us, and we had to kneel on the roughage is like small pieces of granite. For people that don't know what Pancano is,
Whoa.
like small pieces of granite, and we crawled
Oh my God.
like a distance. We crawled from, I would say, almost like 2, 3 blocks. We crawled because we went back and forth. We crawled,
What?
and by the time we stood up, all my nails, like, it was peeled off. Like
Oh
you could see,
my
it was like a
God.
gradual. Like it took me like a week or two to recover. It was a gradual, and then we're doing chores. Like Saturday, we're cutting the grass. We're doing so. It was just like not something I was used to
Mm-hmm.
doing back home. And the seniors saw me as a easy target per se, because I mean, then I was still smaller. I didn't really know what the world was, right? I
Mm-hmm.
just thought everyone was friendly, everyone was nice, but the world had to teach me in a very,
Hmm.
very, very bad way that it wasn't even like that. And it was not even like the students, like classmates,
Mm-hmm.
my seniors, even the teachers. Even to them it wasn't bullying, to them it was like correcting, but that's not what it that's not what it actually was, because the
Mm-hmm.
intent behind it was not pure. It was more from a sense of criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, I had to try to figure out what everything meant. What, like, why are people trees? Is there something wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a me problem? And that even made me like a loner. It made me isolate myself from everyone because I was like, maybe I'm the problem, right? Maybe I'm the one. People don't need to be around me, because if they're around
Mm-hmm.
me, they're gonna experience this
Mm-hmm.
sort of
Mm-hmm.
uh they're gonna experience like these situations, this bullying. Like it's so long. I don't even think we can even fit it in one video because there's so many events that happen
Mhm.
in the span of 6 years. I'll say five because then the
Can
last year
you?
I was already a senior, right?
So can you? Is there like? Can you pick up at least three that affected you
Ooh.
badly?
Uh, it was more of the insult, like jabs from like my classmates, even I wouldn't say parents per se, but in a way, people that are around me, like it was more of even like a mental bullying
Mm-hmm.
kind of. It was like words because
Mm-hmm.
then you beat me up, it's not gonna do me anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in school they used to like flog us a lot, they
Mm-hmm.
beat us up like a lot,
Mm.
a
So
lot
you
of
kind of got
times.
used to
But
it.
I've already got used to that
Mm.
because I was a bit of a rebel, kind of. I was, a little crazy. I was like, I don't care, but not in the sense of even
Mm-hmm.
hurting people or
Mm-hmm.
anything. It was more of, don't disturb me. I just want to be by
Mm-hmm.
myself. Don't tell me what to do, kind of sense. But like the teachers, though, definitely, they flogged me. They flogged me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Parents, teachers. I don't think there's anything they haven't used to like flog me.
Mm-hmm.
I was disobedient, but it didn't warrant the bullying
Mm-hmm.
per se because the seniors, oh, they had a field day. It was either go under the bed, and it's like a bunk bed. I'm talking like a
Mm-hmm.
tight squeeze,
Mm-hmm.
and they would tell you to catch like pregnant mosquitoes. How do you
How do you
find
find a pregnant
pregnant
mosquito?
mosquitoes? Yeah, that's the thing. And then you're stuck under the bed all night. They'll tell you, oh, go fetch this bucket, but those are not even. That's not
Is
even.
that something that you did to them?
No,
So you they
I
just
never did anything to
so
anyone.
walk me through the process. So
Okay. It wasn't even because those were just part of growing up.
mm-hmm.
The go do this, fetch this, that wasn't even, I won't even classify that bullying. That was just, seniors being, you're a junior, you got to do it. That's like, it was the kind of
Mm-hmm.
more of the insult, especially from my classmate, because at that point in time, I was actually very slim. I was like Anita, very,
Are you
even
serious?
slimmer. No, I'm telling you the truth, but
Mhm.
people called me fat.
Wow,
The
that's bullying.
teachers called me fat.
That's
My parents were
verbal.
like,
That's verbal
yeah, my
bullying.
parents like, oh, you're getting fat, you're getting fat. And like classmate teachers. And I remember there was a day, I think we had like a visiting day or something, like a sports event thingy. And one of the teachers saw my parents. I was like, oh. And the next day, the teacher called me and was like, where did you come from? You're a beast. Where did you come from? Like, look at your parents. I don't think your parents gave birth to you. You're not a normal human being. You're like an animal. Oh,
What?
it was, yeah.
A
For
teacher
years,
said
a
that to
teacher said
you.
that. Mm-hmm.
Why? What warranted that? What?
Because he said I don't look like my parents. I'm very ugly. Like my parents are this too. They're good looking, and then there's me. So for years I struggled with that because my self esteem. I had to learn to grow it back. Obviously, like when I started having a relationship with God, getting deeper. That's when I
Mm,
really started finding myself again in Christ because I was used to looking at myself from this messed up view, like, oh,
mm.
who's like, come on,
People
you're not
say you're
that
a
good
beast,
looking.
you're
Yeah, you're
ugly.
big, and then it was even like I was very tiny. Like I think last year, me and my sister were just sitting down, going through like some pictures, memories, and stuff, and then I just saw a picture of when I was younger. Oh, it triggered me. the picture triggered me a lot because it's like I went back in my mind to this little like 12, 13-year old who's trying to figure out life, who's trying to figure out who they are. And people were just insulting me left, right, center. My classmates, like, oh, look at you with your yam leg. Look at your huge head. My name in school was head of state. They called me because my head was so huge. They called me head of state. They insulted, like they tore down. It's like day by day, someone tearing down at your
Every piece of
esteem.
you.
Tiny pieces of me was breaking
Oh Lord.
every single day. And then I just, in my mind, I was like, the best thing to escape is to isolate myself,
Mhm.
be by myself. Don't be with others. Don't let others come close to you
Mhm.
because they're gonna brand you this style. I did have a reputation. I was like a troublemaker, not fighting anyone, but like in terms of doing things I wasn't supposed to do. Parents coming,
Was that
like,
because you wanted to defend you? Was that like a mechanism to defend yourself,
I
or it
mean,
was
it
just
kind of was because even the teachers, they're like, why can't you be more like your sister? Because me and my sister were at school at the same time. So everyone was comparing me to my sister. Even my parents were like, why can't you be like your sister?
that's
Look
so
at your
wrong?
sister, for example. Why can't you? So for a long time, I hated my sister.
Oh wow.
I hated her so much because everyone was like, be like her, do this, do that. And I'm like, if you want a perfect person, then you already have one. Why do I
Mhm.
need to be
Mhm.
perfect, right? I can
Mhm.
just do whatever
Yeah.
and be who I am. Don't need to think about consequences and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it was, even just thinking about it, like, because now I'm like playing everything in my mind. It was bad. And it didn't even stop there because going to, because I did like a year in university in Nigeria, even going from that shrewd mindset,
Mhm.
that even the roommates I was in university, every day
Oh,
was this
sorry. Before
insult.
you talk about this university, I'm very interested in that looking for pregnant mosquito. So please take me through the process because
No, 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 because like,
what exactly happened and how
the
how
thing is, if you go to boarding school, anyone that's gone to boarding school, you probably know seniors, right? Like, there's no escaping them. It's just part of the shaping. We take it
so what
as
exactly did
it's.
you do? And
I didn't do anything.
so they
I was just randomly picked.
so you just walk me through the process.
Okay,
So they pick you up and they say, okay, you, Mine,
let me
go under the
say.
bed and
Okay,
look
let me
for
say like
how does it work?
if they're doing something like, let me say, during prep,
Mhm.
during, for those who know boarding school, they might understand what I'm talking about. Like during prep, let me say you make a noise, your name is in the list of like noisemakers, or even you're supposed to clear, you didn't clear. It's like a punishment, but
Oh.
sometimes it wasn't even really, because like I was the person that, so that even forced me that even when we were eating, I had to rush to eat and escape through the back door so they don't see me, because immediately you walk past where they eat, like you're washing everyone's dishes. I mean, everyone in the seniors hall, you're washing everyone's dishes. So
Anyway, when we talk about the mosquito thing, then I'll go back to I have a question for you. But yeah,
yeah,
so
like
walk me through that process. Yeah.
walking, it's just seniors being seniors. We just learned to accept it.
So
They're
do you ever find a
seniors.
pregnant mosquito?
No, you can never find it. So you're there like most of the night, right? Like you're there,
Night?
you're stuck there. You can't find it.
When no wait.
You're stuck. Do you know what a pregnant mosquito looks like?
While others are sleeping.
Yeah, you sleep under the bunk.
Oh my god.
It's part of chafing.
And then the next morning what happens?
You
You
wake up, they tell you to go. Sometimes they can just even wake you like, yeah, you can go. You will be lucky if the, let me say, the Reverend Sister came for inspection, or the matron in the hotel came to come and like look around. You'll be lucky if you're able to escape, or they tell you to go on time. It was more of, I was like the, you know,
oh my
when somebody
goodness.
brings you to make jest, I was like the entertainment for them, for the whole
And you
class.
Did you ever like complain to the
Complain to
teachers?
who? Who are you complaining to?
Yeah, you need to
You
tell the
complain
teachers
to the
what.
teachers. The teachers tell you it's part of growing up that you need to grow up. This is not your house.
Oh wow.
You're going home. They already shape you like, don't say anything to your parents.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Did you ever tell your parents?
I mean, I think I did. I don't know. I can't
But
remember, but I think maybe I did. But it'd be like, ah, yeah, sucks,
it didn't
but
make any difference.
it didn't make any difference. I just had to bravado my way out of it.
Wow.
I ran. Oh, most times I spent in that school, I spent. I think that's why I got so used to being because I was always hiding.
Hmm.
I was always hiding. Once I see far away, I'm out of there. I go
So,
somewhere to hide, like somewhere very isolated to go hide.
so how were you able to finish secondary school?
I mean, they left, right? Like I said, they graduate. Then the next set comes, they do something else. The set after that. But it wasn't, I think my first and second was kind of like the biggest struggle for me. I think it was, yeah, the first and second was like kind of like the biggest, because that's when those were, because the school was still pretty new. So those were the very first set. So they did a lot of the bullying. Because the set after them, they weren't too bad. They were a bit more kind, but it's the same thing. Do this, go do this for me. And they also saw like I was also at strength too, right?
Hmm.
So they're like, oh, you have strength, go bring this. They'll send you an impossible message, go to this place, go look for someone that doesn't exist.
Was there a consequence
You can't run.
of
They will find you. You live in the school. There is nowhere to
they find
run.
you and do what?
And do whatever. They will flog you, they will beat you.
And you can't.
Who am I telling? If I tell the teacher, even if I tell the principal, they're gonna be in trouble, and then I'm gonna be in more trouble because they're gonna beat me more.
Oh.
So there is like this endless cycle that you cannot escape from.
So the
I just
best thing is
became the jest. I
just so
just
just the best thing is just keep quiet.
and endure,
Endure, go through.
endure it. You have
So
to grow up.
so did that ever affect
My
you?
mental
Yeah,
health,
your mental health.
definitely.
Can you tell us about that?
It just made me look at. I was like, I couldn't really trust anyone for a while. I'm still even working on that. Being able to trust that you have the best intention for
Okay.
me. Okay. So
Just.
I got so used to pushing everyone away.
Mhm.
It was like I noticed it, like sometimes when you don't deal with any unhealed wounds and
Mhm.
later
Mhm.
on they start
Mhm.
showing in your life and you're like,
Yeah.
huh, why is this happening? Why is that happening? But for so long, if I had a friend, if I had someone, I would be friends with them. But so you don't like chase me out, I'll push you away instead.
Mm.
If it got to a point of be like, I would just do something, I have like an outburst because I had so much anger.
Mhm.
Oh, I had anger. There was just so much anger brewing
Mhm.
in me for a very, very, very long time. I struggled with anger. I would just have outbursts. Like even in school, they knew that.
Mhm.
Because when I got to like my SS3, like grade, got a bit higher, left like the junior
Mhm.
secondary, now you're not a
Mhm.
kid. You can't bully me like that
Mhm.
anymore, right? So it was so scary going through that. I wouldn't even wish it on my enemy to even go through that, but they say
Why
it's
did
to
you
shape you.
think? Why do you think you had so much anger bottled up inside of you?
Because I was angry with the world. I was angry with my parents. I was angry with my teachers. I was angry with everyone
Why?
because I was just suffering in silence. There was no one to talk to, even.
Mm.
And I remember even the guidance counselor I tried talking to, so yeah, come talk to it. Next thing she's talking about my whole case in front of everyone.
Oh no.
Obviously you didn't say the name, but
Yeah.
people kind of know what you're going through. So
Yeah.
they know they're talking about me.
Yeah. And that made you with.
That made me I can't
Yeah.
trust you.
Oh
I
wow.
can't tell anyone anything because if I tell you, you're not gonna be a safe space for me,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just gonna go out there and tell everyone about what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what, might as well just suffer in silence.
So, how did you eventually handle the anger issue and the
Well,
melt? Okay, let's start with the anger issue.
I would say not until recently, like maybe like a year or two.
Mm.
Because the thing is, if I had gone to God sooner, if I'd like repaired my relationship, probably would have been a lot
Mm-hmm.
faster. But
Mm-hmm.
you sometimes we think locking it in the back of our minds that we've moved on
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
we've not.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got so tired of because I even went to like I said, I went to like a year of university in Nigeria, much worse. It just got worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think after that I traveled to like Hungary for like a year for studies. But then there was racism,
Mm.
which I've never experienced in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I just felt like, you know what, and the anger, the pain, the thoughts, the nightmares, it just kept, and I just locked myself in the
Mm.
house, didn't bother. I tried to commit suicide like 3, 4 times
Wow.
because, like, you know, you get to a point and you're like, I don't think I want to continue.
Mm-hmm.
I tried every time, even in school, secondary school, like, I tried, took a big rope, climbed a tree,
Wow.
tied everything. I was ready. I was like, what, 13 or 14? I was ready because I was done. Because you know, when you carry so much
Mm-hmm.
pain,
Mm-hmm.
so much anger, and you don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Because then there's nothing like therapy at that
Mm.
time. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
like, even when you talk to your parents are either gonna, oh, they will take you to a pastor. Oh, I went for deliverance. They're like, there's something wrong.
It's a demonic
No, because like,
attack.
you know, when people and when everyone keeps pointing out that there's
Mm-hmm.
something wrong with you, in the back of your mind, you will continue to
Yeah.
think
That
that
there's
there's
actually
something
something wrong with
very
me.
wrong with you. And I grew up like so many years, I thought, oh, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. Oh, it's a me problem. Everything
Mm-hmm.
was a me problem. If I was doing something, I didn't do it well, it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
If I was like, and people be like, oh, no, it's not. I'm like, no, it's my fault. It's my fault. I did it. So that also even makes people look at you like, what's going on with this? Or why are you
Mm-hmm.
thinking like that? But I was like 21, 22. And I just got so tired of everything and I just shut it off in my mind. People ask me how I did that. I don't know. I just stopped thinking about it. One day I was like, instead of me thinking about it, so every time it would come, I would just divert my mind, think about something else,
Mm-hmm.
and trust. I was just burying it. You know when you just keep
Mm-hmm.
burying something,
Mm-hmm.
bury. You see the fruits,
Mm-hmm.
but then you've not gone into the root of
Mm-hmm.
what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep cutting off the fruit,
Mm-hmm.
cutting the stems, cutting the stem, but the root is just gonna keep, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep growing, it's gonna keep growing, and then it just got. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna think about it. I'm gonna move on with my life. Life happened, and even sometimes I would tell people just like a little bit of they'd be like, "How are you still alive?" I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
I don't know. God just wasn't ready for me to leave the art because I
Yeah.
tried. I tried so many times, like 3, 4 times. It didn't
Wow.
just work. The Lord is like, no, no, no.
No,
It's not
I
yet
have
your
work for
time.
you
You
to
have
do.
work for you to do. No, he just kept preserving because he just kept preserving me, preserving like because it was so much. It was just thinking I'm not good enough. No matter what I do, people are gonna even seeing like even there was a point like even if someone is even laughing and looking at me, I would think they were laughing at me.
Oh wow.
I think, oh, they're laughing in there. My head, my clothes, the way I was dressed, the way I look. Like
Even when it was not about you.
I was so self conscious. Like it was like a destructive cycle. Like
Mm-hmm.
so many times, I would be doing so great, and then one day I would just spiral down.
Wow.
I just keep spiraling down. Every time it's like I'm going. Oh, I'm going on a steady path.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone down. the everything just keeps unfolding because I didn't go back to actually heal and address what was
Yeah.
going on. And it's even now, God is even bringing to remembrance
Hmm.
like all these things that happened because I'm going to write a book about the story of my life.
Can't wait to read the book.
Yeah, it's this is just even a lot,
Hmm.
a lot. This is just bullying.
Hmm.
There are other things. There are a lot of things that I've seen.
You want to share some, just a little bit of some?
I have come to. I mean, I mean, when I was younger,
Hmm.
I also was molested.
Hmm.
So that also added to the anger.
Hmm.
And although I used to like do bad stuff at home, I remember there was a day I think my mom was asking like, "Oh, who did this? Who broke this stuff? Who?" And I was like, "It's not me."
Hmm.
But she was so sure
That it was
that
you.
it was me because that identity of oh, you break stuff, you do bad things,
Hmm.
you're not a good child.
Hmm.
Like it was like an identity I carried for so many
Hmm.
years. And she found out it was my brother that did it.
Wow.
But there you beat me.
Whoa. But did they
They
come
are
back to
no,
apologize?
no. So imagine that
Oh,
being
wow.
like, even when I tell you the truth,
Yeah.
you're never going to believe me at
So what's the
all.
point of telling
So
you?
what's the point of me telling you
Wow.
the
I
truth?
can't even imagine living your life like that.
Like there's no need to say the truth. So I got so
So
used
you
to
bear
just
the
lying
burden and
and
just,
just yeah, I'm fine.
wow.
I got so I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be okay? Even sometimes I even say like even now if I'm going through something like now I'm learning to share.
Hmm.
I bottle
Yeah.
every. I'm like I can do it. I'll figure it out. I'll find a way to do it. God's gonna help me. But now I'm learning. You know, sometimes when you share the burden,
Hmm.
it's a lot easier on you. You feel like a weight has gone
Hmm.
off your chest. But sometimes I'm like, no, this is too big. I can't trust you with this information
Wow.
because if I tell you, it's either not even the point of even looking down on me, more of the point of you either make fun of me, make jests, or
Tell the whole
you're
world.
gonna tell someone
Hmm. Which you
what
didn't
I
want.
told
Yeah.
you in
Hmm.
like private because
Yeah.
that happened to me. I think in one time during school, I was talking to someone about like just like how I was feeling, and we had an argument, and she was just saying everything,
Oh, wow.
and I'm that angry crier.
Yeah.
Like you know when you're angry
Hmm.
and you just start crying
Yeah.
because if I don't cry,
I know. I feel
and
you because
then
I used to be like
yeah,
that
it
too.
was either if I don't cry, I have to punch something.
Yeah.
I have to hit
Yeah.
something.
I had to do something. Yeah.
I have to expel this anger out
Hmm.
of me one way or another. See
Hmm.
that I have to beat the wall. There was a time
Hmm.
I even beat the wall so hard, like my
Wow.
knuckles were slick because I had to get the anger
Hmm.
out of me.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot. So, what was the turning point for you?
The turning point
What happened
that made
and
me
when?
heal
Yeah, yeah. What and when?
last year December,
Just recently.
just recently.
So tell
It's
us.
not because, like I said, when I was 20, like 21, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna think about it.
Hmm.
But at the same point, I turned to substance. I drank. I took, you know, things you're not supposed to take. Not hard drugs. No, no, no. I didn't take coke. I didn't take. I took drug, alcohol, weed. It was like a
Hmm.
escape because
Hmm.
then I
Hmm.
wasn't
You just
thinking.
wanted to numb
I
whatever
wanted
is.
to. I got so numb. I think
Wow.
it's now like since I started my walk with God that I'm like, God, make me feel again.
Hmm.
Because to the point I was numb to everything.
Mm.
Like they could shoot someone right there, just like yeah, sure, and then I'll move on.
Wow.
Like they wouldn't like those. My sister used to be so angry every time. She'd be like, "What is that?" I'll be like, "Yeah, don't care." She'd be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
But it was I actually didn't care at all. At all, I did not care. I was just this broken. I got so broken in my mind that people's emotions were not valid to me anymore. It was like you're I just saw you as a number.
Wow.
I learned to just because you're like you don't have any value to me. I don't care about you. I don't care about your situation. Whatever you're doing, that's fine. Figure it out. Do you? That's none of my business. But now I'm learning, okay, extend grace.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk like that. I control myself like most of the time. It's just, like when you've 24 years, I'm used to saying something.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm learning not to say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning, okay, I can't word it like that. I have to say something nice. And then I was like, Holy Spirit, what do I say? I don't know what to, because I don't want to sound like I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm so used to just being that response. Like even sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, sure, don't care. It's just like, and I'll be like, no, I do care. I do care. Okay. It's
What
not
I
like,
mean
what
is,
I mean is at this point, like,
Mhm.
I'm not thinking about it right now. I'll think
Mhm.
about it and let you know. So it's like, it's just even like a training on my part. And I think it was I forgot what even happened that day. I think I got into like an argument with like a family member. It was like a big fight that
Mhm.
day. And then, when like a floodgate opens,
Mhm.
I felt like all the emotions. When you've buried something, you've never really properly cried for something.
Mhm.
I cried. Oh, that day I wept. Crying is even I wept. I couldn't for 4 hours. I couldn't even stay in the house because the people in the house I didn't want to disturb. I was crying. I was holding my mouth. I
Mhm.
couldn't. I had to wear my jacket. I went outside in the snow. People probably saw me and be like, "What is this person?" It was like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Wow.
I was just crying. When you just feel that brokenness,
Mhm.
when you just surrender. I think I finally surrendered it to God. I was like, God, I've accepted it. But I don't think there's anyone I can trust more than you.
Mhm. Mhm.
I've come to realize like there's no one that's gonna love me the way you love
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
So I surrendered this emotion. I just surrendered that day. Something just broke
Mm.
inside of me that day. Something it's like I can't even explain what happened that day. I was just crying. I cried so I was outside. I sat in the snow. I was just weeping. Like when you get to a point, there's not even tears, but you're
Mhm.
crying.
Mhm.
It's no tears coming out, but like you're just from a brokenness. And then now I've began the healing process
Mhm.
properly.
Mhm.
Not before. Before I just duct taped it until
Mhm.
like when you just keep putting a band-aid or something and you're not really opening it to
Mhm.
heal the wound.
Mhm.
That's what I was doing. But now I've healed the wound, and I would say I'm like more than halfway even into my healing. I've come to the acceptance, oh, this is what it is. I surrender it. Every
So,
time I feel it, I surrender it to you, God. I just ask, if there's anyone I haven't also forgiven, I want like the forgiveness, letting just now beginning to trust God
Mhm.
because now I'm also even getting to like a deeper walk with God.
Mhm.
So learning to just trust Him and know that He knows what's best for me.
Mhm.
He's His will, not anyone's will. You can say what but His will. And now I don't even care. If you look at me stupid, you're following God. That's you. Now I'm just trusting in Him that He's gonna do what is best for me.
Okay. So, what you're saying is giving it to God or surrendering to God was the beginning of
Hmm. Of proper healing.
proper
Because
healing.
the thing I even think like if now I'm looking back on it, I think like God was already when I rededicated my life to Christ, God was already starting the work.
Mhm.
But I didn't know that He
Okay.
was already beginning the work
Okay.
of the healing. Because then I was like, that's when I really started. Oh, this is what healing means.
Mm.
This is what like I have to address this. I have to
Mhm.
address. There's certain gaps, like
Mhm.
even memory too, because there's certain things that you lock away in your
Mhm.
memory
Mhm.
that until the Holy Spirit actually reveals it to you. You're like, oh, so this happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I need to heal from that
Mhm.
because if not, you're just gonna go on this endless cycle of Just to remember that when people falsely accuse me of something and then find out, oh, it's not you. There's no apology, tarnishing images, and it was just so much, so much overload at that young.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated high school at 15, and then I got into university 15, turned 16. So like, imagine even going for that. I'm still a child.
Mm-hmm.
I'm entering this new world that I don't even know nothing about. I have to try and figure everything out myself, but everything is not even the way it seems because
Mm-hmm.
people are crazy out there. People do things, and then you hear stories, you see things, and you're like, it makes you even wonder why are people like this. And at the point, I was like, you know what, humans are just. I don't think I ever want to associate with anyone.
You don't
Like,
want to be a human?
never don't
Newsflash,
want to
you
be a
are a
you.
human.
No, no, no. Like a point of like, I don't want to associate. Like, I got
Mm-hmm.
so used to. That's why, like, the destructiveness. Like
Mm-hmm.
every time I had like a friendship, I would just
Yeah.
end it. I would
Mm.
just ghost or just push them away because I don't
Mm.
want to get hurt. I don't want to trust you and make you a constant in my life
Mm-hmm.
when you're not gonna be a constant in
Yeah.
my life. So it
Yeah.
was like, okay, before that happens, I'm just gonna push
Yeah.
you away. Before that happens, I'm gonna push you away.
Push
So there are
away.
many friendships I could have had,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have them
Because
because,
yeah.
like I said, the destructive cycle of just pushing everyone away
Mm.
or finding something to just fight about and then just ghosting. That's it. The friendship.
Yeah.
I think I've only had one. God blessed me with that friend. I won't even lie. Like over the years, even when I even tried to push, she pushed back. She was like, "You know what?
That's a God ordained
Ah,
friendship.
I'm gonna be here," and I have actually come a long way.
Yeah. Let me ask you, how are you right now?
I'm a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
Doing great, but I'm still a work in progress. Everyone, in fact, everyone is still a work in progress. But
Mm-hmm.
I just thank God that I mean, nothing is ever too late for God, but I just thank God that I'm in that phase right now in my life that I'm addressing these things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking, I'm like, okay, this is why did I respond like that? Is
Mm-hmm.
this something is there something wrong? Like
Mm-hmm.
is it caused by something? And I even the other day, I think me and my sister were upstairs, so we're doing like this exercise because we're watching a minister and we're doing this exercise like a faith, like listening to like the voice of the Holy Spirit and also talking. And for some reason, I just couldn't like when your mind is blank. And my sister was like, "Why are you finding it so hard to surrender?"
Yeah.
And that year I was like, "Why?" And then I mean, I cried every time I cry.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just so easy for me because I'm not crying for years now, and
Mm-hmm.
everything's like, oh, in the presence of God, I'm crying. People are like, why you cry? So I'm like, trust me,
Yeah.
I've had 20 something years of not
Mm.
crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now anything is gonna
And
make
it's
you
gonna
cry.
feel refreshing, I think.
It feels it
Yeah.
feels so
I know.
refreshing. Like every time, like I'm just in His presence, just worshiping, tears. Just
It's a
it's
beautiful
like the
thing.
gratitude of being there, but even acknowledging where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like I found it so hard to surrender, and my sister was like, "That's something you should work on. Why
Yeah.
don't you want to surrender it? Why don't you want to surrender?" I was like, you know what, God, if there's anything I haven't actually surrendered, surrender it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's even like a constant thing. I even
Mm-hmm.
pray like almost every day,
Mm-hmm.
like Lord, is there's any because like there's some things you don't know you've not surrendered.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could just be going, you would be like, and then also like, you've not surrendered. Look at
Mm-hmm.
this. Look
Mm-hmm.
at there's something there that you've not
Mm-hmm.
surrendered to. So every day I'm like, Lord, if there's anything in my heart, anything
Mm-hmm.
in my mind that I haven't surrendered to you, I surrender it. I drop it. I drop it. I don't want to be carrying any burden. I don't want to be carrying
Mm-hmm.
any doubt, any like religious beliefs and stuff, anything that has shaped the way I am
Mm-hmm.
today, anything that is not that wasn't supposed to shape me but shaped me, I surrender it. Take control. Let your will be done in my
Yeah.
life. So like it's a constant, but we're growing, we're
Mm-hmm.
learning. I'm grateful that the Lord has brought me here.
Yeah.
It's a very hard time in my life, but like everyone must go through it
Mm-hmm.
where you have to grow.
Yeah.
So like it's the breaking and the reshaping. So that's the current phase I'm in. So people ask me, "Oh, how's life going?" It's going great.
Yeah. I mean,
The
compared
Lord
from where
is,
you're coming from,
yeah, the
yes.
Lord is reshaping because that
Mm-hmm.
has to happen. It's transforming me. It's
Mm.
transforming my mindset. It's transforming everything. I didn't even know I was doing the discipleship until like I just recently feel like, wait, since 2024, I've actually been listening to my sister teaching me like,
Yeah.
huh, she has been teaching. So like there's some things now that comes easier for me to believe because I was also learning from her
Mm-hmm.
at that time. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, okay. I think this is not this is
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is not how you're supposed to, but
Okay.
I'm still learning like the race is personal.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their own
Oh yeah.
timing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yes.
Great. I just have just three more questions and we're
Okay.
done. I think the first one is how is your relationship with your sister now? Because you said
Oh yeah, we're like best friends now. No, no, because it was even I think 2023,
mm-hmm.
twenty
Mm-hmm.
twenty four. I told her I used to hate you
Yeah.
because now I've had to live with her for like 3 4 years. She's
Yeah.
like I used to hate you so much.
How did she feel about that
She was
revelation?
like, why? And then also her even telling me like the things that she went through,
Mm-hmm.
like that also even brought to mind like, okay, we both had our own
Mm-hmm.
fair share
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
experiences. Like, because she's the firstborn, their expectations, like
Mm-hmm.
you have to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I don't really blame my parents because they were young. They don't
Mm-hmm.
really, no one is a perfect parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they just thought it was what was best.
Mm-hmm. At the time.
Take example from your sister, kind of, even though it meant from like a loving way from them,
Mm-hmm.
to me it felt like because I was so used to hearing it from the
Mm-hmm.
teachers and everyone around me. Oh, are you sure you're this person's sister? Ah,
Mm-hmm.
no, your sister was very like this.
Mm-hmm.
This you cannot be a sister. Why are you so
Mm.
dumb? Why are you
Oh
stupid?
wow.
And this is let me tell you like the
That's
switch because when I was really young, like I skipped like 2 grades, I was like the smartest person in my school. And I think the first time I even experienced disappointment was I wrote the exam for like the to get into the boarding school because when your mind is not really in
mm-hmm.
something, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna not want to pass.
Yeah.
So like I didn't
So you
pass the first. I
deliberately
deliberately failed the first time, and I couldn't like year like my friend was like, "Why are you doing this? How can you this?" I was like, "Wow, is this what disappointment feels like?" Because no, the thing is, I was already even then. I was like, quite like do you I was like a rugged little child. I was not like the most friendliest. I was like the rugged little person and like you just stay the person like your parents would advise you to
mm-hmm.
stay away from, not because I was bad or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but it was more of a uh, mm, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with you.
Mm.
There's something wrong with you. We don't know
Saying
what it
something
is.
without really saying something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was just then and like even thinking back, I think the other night I was just in my bed and the Holy Spirit just brought to remembrance like the first time I actually felt like I was neglected. It was like my first ever visiting day because we're in boarding school, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first ever visiting day is the most crucial because you haven't seen your parents. You're used to being around your
Mm-hmm.
parents. You haven't seen your parents for like a month and a half. And you expect like, they're gonna show up
Mm.
and they didn't show up.
Oh
They
Lord.
had to go to like an event. They came at the end. They just dropped off food, and that day I was like, "Oh my god, these people don't love me.
Like, okay,
they
I used
don't.
to think they didn't love me.
They
Now I
don't
just
love me.
confirmed it.
They
Wow.
don't love like." And I think it's even that day kind of just shaped the next 5 years. I didn't even
Oh
know. It
wow.
just kind of shaped the next how the. I just got so used to. Okay, I wouldn't expect them because then I was always like among the first people to go to school, but
Mm-hmm.
like the last to be picked up.
Oh,
Like they
wow.
still pick me up way at the end. Like everyone's gone home. I'm just chilling. Before I used to get like restless and antsy, and then at a point I just got used to it. I didn't even bother waking up early.
Wow.
Even visiting day, I just
Because you
didn't.
just said to yourself they're gonna come late
In my
anyway.
mind, I grew numb to it. Like if you come, you come. If you don't come,
Wow.
I will move on. I'll be fine.
I mean, to be fair to them, maybe they were busy, maybe they had, I
They
don't
left your
know, but
child in.
I don't know. Like, well,
No, I mean I won't blame them too because like we were four and like
mhm,
all of us were in boarding school. Two like we're
mhm.
two were me and my sister in the
And
same
they had
boarding
to go,
school.
and they had to go
My
visit
brother
each
was in
child.
a
So
yeah, but like
you
our
see,
visiting day didn't fall at the same time.
well,
What is what?
I'm not defending them. Anyway, so let me ask you the next question. Was there a part of your bullying experience that you couldn't tell anyone, or you haven't even told anyone right now?
Ooh, I think so. I think the first time I tried to, because after I went to Europe, I came back. I was home for like a year, but then I started taking care of my baby brother.
Hmm.
I became like a it's like I became like a single mother at the age of 17. Yeah,
Hmm.
but and when I went to school, because my parents were like, "Oh, you need to do something." They didn't. There wasn't a lot of. I think it was even God's grace because there, I tried to also end my life too. I drank like a chemical and funny enough, I was about to just and then my family friends just walked in. It's like, how did you? I'm pretty sure I locked the door. Pretty sure I locked the door. Like, but I still drank it regardless. And they were like, "Oh, should we rush her to the hospital?" I don't know why the father was like, "No, let's just take her home." I was like, "I'm telling you, like it was burning. I could feel it
Hmm.
burning. No way, feel something burning
Hmm.
your lungs, like burning your inside from out." That's how I felt. Next day, I slept. I woke up completely fine. I was like, "What? Lord, just let me die in peace." The Lord was like, "Nah, girl, you have to
No.
do something for
Yeah.
me." And then I was
Wow.
like, "Why?" Then I didn't really like. I was just so angry, and also I think I was also so angry with God
Hmm.
because it was like you're supposed to be there. You're supposed to. Why didn't you stop these people from doing this? Why didn't you stop them from hurting me? Why didn't you stop people from harming me? And it was just, it was just like, really, God? Yeah, there you know.
And then you wouldn't
I
let me
think you
die.
I think you will let me die. You won't let me die. I want to go. You don't want me to go. Okay, I'm staying. You don't want to help me. Like, so what is it? What is it going to be? And oh, I was there
Oh.
negotiating with God, like, oh God, if you do this for me, I'm like, God was probably looking at me like, girl, that's not how the relationship
Yeah, yeah.
works. You can't negotiate with me. But I think I tried, I think the first ever time I tried telling, African parents, right? I
Hmm.
tried telling like my mom what happened. And I don't know if it was because she has also been through things in her life.
Hmm.
But I think maybe it's the way she worded it. I just told her like a glimpse.
Mm.
This is even a lot. I just told her like one thing that happened. It's like, oh, this is nothing. Like you should have gone through things worse. And in my mind that day I was like,
Mm.
I ain't telling you anything ever again.
Yeah.
Even to now, like I still hold on to that.
Hmm.
But those was like, you gotta talk or like
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. I
Yeah.
can't I can't tell you anything because you're just gonna compare it to
Hmm.
what you've been through. I don't wanna compare with you. I
Yeah.
wanna
That's
sit
not why I'm
down.
telling you.
I wanna sit down, have a conversation with you,
Hmm.
tell you what happened in my life. Like even the time I was molested, I couldn't tell my parents because of the fear of they would never believe me.
Hmm.
So imagine having to endure that.
Wow.
And at that point, something in my mind, I just got so used to waking up because the person usually come in like in the early in the morning, like 1 a.m. to it. So it was like
Coming, Ellen, but the person living in your
no, the
house?
person was living, yeah, but coming to my room, like what I mean. So like it happened like two, three times, and then the I think like the fourth time I just woke up and I was like, if you're gonna come here, I will kill you.
Wow.
I will take you down if I have to.
Hmm.
So like I was just awake at that time.
Hmm.
My body's just I was like at that
Hmm.
time I would just wake up, stay in bed for like an hour to make sure my door is locked. Like I was so paranoid
Hmm.
that like oh I was paranoid for a long time because then every time I'm somewhere I'm always looking like where's the
Hmm.
exit? Is anyone
Wow.
close to me? That I couldn't even now even letting people get close to me.
Hmm.
Before you cannot be in like physical space. I will be very, very uncomfortable. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
like people. Now I hug, and
Mm-hmm.
before I couldn't do it. Before, like, it would take such great restraint.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only person I could hug was like my baby brother because he's a
Mm.
baby, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
I
He's a
trust
sibling.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even him like it was like a baby. I
Mm-hmm.
trust him. I'm raising you,
Mm-hmm.
so like I trust you. You're not gonna do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But people like there's a great resistance, like even
Mm-hmm.
to hug, show. Now I'm learning to show love. Now I'm learning to say I love you. Now I'm learning because we didn't also grow up like with our
Yeah.
parents saying I
Yeah.
love you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
now I'm learning. Oh, it's okay to say it. It's not. Even if they don't say it back, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just say it. I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, showing like because then I used to even show emotions, but it was forced.
Mm-hmm.
It felt so forced. So every time I would show emotion, before I would say, "Oh, I kiss her," because I used to always peck like my mom or my
Mm-hmm.
dad on the cheek a lot. They'd be like, "Oh, you kiss her," but it wasn't like I wanted to. It was like I had to do something to at least
Mm-hmm.
get your attention,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
So it was like, but every time after, I felt so sick
Ooh.
to my stomach. Like it would be like I want to puke and scrub my
Just
skin
because
off
you gave
just
them.
because I have physical contact with that. I used to you could not touch me. I would scrub my skin.
Oh my god.
You could not because like I'm telling you, being molested like 3, 4 times in your
Mm-hmm.
life, there's nothing you would like now the God is like breaking
Mm-hmm.
off those cycle, breaking off those thoughts. But in the back of my mind, even sometimes when I just look like it's
Mm-hmm.
not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just
It's
something you just be
psychological.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
like I always have to know where I am. Like I don't just be going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like so that even if no one even knows, like I'm always conscious of.
Yeah. Your environment.
So I got used to just being like the watcher. Like
Mm-hmm.
I could sit, and there was a time I used to work. Like I was like at a warehouse, and I used to sit at like the very edge, close to like the nearest exit possible. So if anything, I could just slip
Escape.
out. And like people would just be like, "Why is this person sitting?" Like that used to be my take.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't move tables. It's when I started talking to people that I sat in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm still looking around, like okay, like I'm still watching
Mm-hmm.
everything. And people, when people touch me, I'm like, huh, yeah, fine, yes. And then I'm
Okay.
like, oh, I used to, especially men.
Mm-hmm.
Like women, it wasn't like a
Mm.
with when men like someone it would just be like a loving like hey I'm
Mm-hmm.
like oh don't do it don't
Oh
don't
my god.
but like I had to learn God had
Mm-hmm.
to like break a
Yeah.
lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
in me. So I mean that like I said I mean that breaking and
Mm-hmm.
transformation stage where
That's still in
the
that
Lord
that
is
process that
that break it that drop it
breaking.
don't think like that like so I mean that
Wow.
process of renewing my mind
Mm-hmm.
renewing things the way I thought the way things went out in my life. So but all in all I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
aren't I? I'm here, I'm alive, thanks to God for
Amen.
keeping
Hallelujah.
because now I thank God. I'm like God thank God I did not die. Like
Yeah.
my life really just ended and for what the
Yeah.
people would move on with their
Yeah.
lives and
Yeah.
it would just be I
Just
would be the
wasted your
one
life
to
for nothing.
lose,
Yeah.
right? So, but now I'm like, you know what?
I think that.
I even extend grace to people because I'm like, it's probably your situation. Something probably
Mm,
happened in your life. That's why
yeah.
you bullied or you're sad. You're going
Mm-hmm.
through. You're not
Mm-hmm.
happy.
I mean, there's a saying that
Hurt people. Hurt
yeah, and
people.
bullies also bully other people. I mean, let me ask you the last question. So, what would be your advice to someone who is going through
Ooh.
bullying right now? And what would also be your advice to those people who are bullying others? So, they're two in one now,
Mm,
to
okay.
victims and to
To
perpetrators.
victims, I would say find someone you trust. Probably a trusted adult. Your parents. It's even if they don't believe you. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
It would save you years of self sabotaging if you just tell them.
Mm.
And especially if your parents are people that really care about you. If your parents are some people you can trust and they truly genuinely love you because parents they do
Mm-hmm.
like love you. talk to them about it. It's best to, at the beginning, if you need to change schools, if you need to seek therapy, like it would save you years of pain if you just spoke to them. Because sometimes, the thing is, parents be like, oh, what they said, is it true?
Hmm.
What they didn't say, like, but just talk, or even find, even if it's a friend that you can talk to,
Just find
someone
someone you
someone
can
that you
trust and you
can
can.
vent it out to, because you need to, the thing is, before you can even heal, you need to say it out loud.
Okay. Okay.
And you need to, if you don't say it out loud, you cannot heal from it.
Okay.
Because even if you say in your mind, like, oh yeah, I've healed from, no, you've not. You need to
Okay.
share it with someone. We need to talk about it, like, okay, did I react, bro? Like, okay, the way they even treated me. And I would say, don't just take the people are obviously to be blamed and also not to be blamed,
Hmm.
because they've probably been through things in your life and they think it's okay and it's normal to bully people, which is not. Bullying is a very strong word. And for those who bully, stop. You may be going through something. Your parents may have shaped the way you treat people, but you can't go around the world just hurting people and expecting not to come back to you.
Exactly.
Because I'm not saying I'm wishing that you get hurt, but eventually someone will hurt you.
Yeah.
The way you hurt someone, you will have to, either you have to experience it in the hard way, just change, think about it, like really sit down with yourself and think, what I'm doing right now, do I want this to happen to me?
Yeah. I think that's the way to
Mhm.
end. Do I want it to happen to me? And if it does happen to you, do you like it? If
No,
the
you
answer
don't.
is no, then stop.
Just stop. Is this easy as that?
Wow,
Stop.
awesome. What's an incredible story. Thank you for being here and thank you for
Thank you for
sharing.
having me.
God bless you.